Okay. Hi everyone. Hi. This is Nidhi from LetsUpgrade. I'm working as a head of operations over here. That's my introduction. Hi. Give me a hi in the chat if everyone can see me and hear me properly. All right. Hello. Good evening to all of you. I can see someone saying, okay, we are waiting to play Kahoot today. So we are gonna have Kahoot session today at the end of the session. So stay tuned till the end. All right. Cool. So no, yesterday we didn't had Kahoot anime. All right. Hi, hi everyone. Great. So I hope you did enjoyed your 2 days of this boot camp. Today is the last day. We will be wrapping up today. So let me know. Have you all attended day one and day two? People who have doubt that how to get certificate, I have already explained on day one. So you have to submit the assignments for day one, day two, and day three, and you have to score more than 70. Then only you will be getting your certificate. Ma'am, there is a issue with the attendance. What issue is there? If you can just elaborate, so I can tag the team. All right, let's wait for others to join in. Meanwhile, let me know if anyone faced any issue or something. Okay, so how many of you have attended day one and day two? Or how many of you are here directly here from YouTube for day three? So people who already have seen day one and day two, they can continue with their day three. People who are joining in for day three, please, you can definitely watch the session, but make sure that you go back and see the recording of day one and day two and do register for the program. Okay. Who have not yet subscribed our channel, please do that as well. People who have attended both the days, great. Great. Attendance issue, what exact issue you're facing, guys? If anything is there with the attendance, all you can do it, you can just uh, mail us at support@letsupgrade.in. Take a screenshot of the issue what you are facing, mail us, and we will be sorting out your issue. Anyone else facing the attendance issue, let me know. Certificate, you won't be getting it today. So I have already mentioned that we will be giving you 1 week time to complete all your assignments for day one, day two, and day three. And then next Wednesday or Thursday, we will be issuing the certificate. So, and you will get your certificate via your mail. Ma'am, I attended Bootstrap Bootcamp, but I didn't got certificate because we have not yet issued the Bootstrap certificate. So you will be getting it by either by tomorrow, EOD. ऋषिका नहीं, कल क्विज नहीं हुआ. We'll be having quiz today, so just wait till the end of the session. So yes, the moderator has sent the email ID of support@letsupgrade.in. Any issue regarding the program, do reach out to us on that email ID and we will be sorting it out. Assignment submitted, great. So not taking much of the time for today as well. All I want to let you know that if you have any doubt regarding the assignment attendance, you can watch day one ka starting ka 10-15 minutes of time. Apart from that, stay till the end of the session because we are going to have Kahoot today. Okay. Certificate get today or tomorrow? No, Anjali, you won't be getting the certificate either today or tomorrow. We have 1 week of time, right? But the condition is you have to submit your all the 3 days assignment. So day one, day two, day three, you have to submit the assignment for all the 3 days. Cool. Now I will be handling over the session to your trainer. Let's meet at the end of the session. Okay. I'll call Neelam ma'am on the stage. Hassan, it will be great if you won't spam. Great. Uh, Hi, ma'am.
Hi everyone, good evening.
So you
Am
can
I
continue. I'll
audible
just.
and visible to you? Yeah. How are you all? Yeah. Any doubts from previous two sessions we have covered? Were you able to solve yesterday's assignment as well? So in the first session we covered basic installation and we covered with the program structure, then variable declarations, then we studied the main method and the execution of the program, features of Java, right? Then on day 2 we studied conditional statements, we studied loops, right? We studied the operators as well. Any doubts in that? Okay, cool. Prime or not? Okay, so ideally, what's the logic to check whether the number is prime or not? How do we verify whether the number is prime or not? Let me quickly share the screen. Is my screen visible to you? Can you see my screen? Yeah. Uh, if num% 2 equals to 0, it's a prime. Is it? That's odd even, right? How do we check whether the number is prime or not? So ideally that number is only divisible by itself and 1. It's not divisible by any other numbers. So that number we called it as a prime number, right? Let's say 13. So if I say 13, so 13 is only divisible by itself and 1, right? There are no divisors of 13, correct? So that's why we call 13 as a prime number. Okay, it's only divisible by 1 and itself. Okay, so this number will be ideally prime, correct? So let's say 15. So when I say 15, 15 is divisible by 1, it's divisible by 3, it's divisible by 5, and it's divisible by 15. So other than 1 and itself, it has other divisors as well, 3 and 5. So ideally this number will not be prime. Okay. So for number to being prime, it has to be divisible by 1 and itself. Such kind of numbers will be called as a prime number, and this is not prime. Okay. So you have to develop a logic to check whether the number is prime. So how can we do that? We can divide the number by individual numbers, and if the remainder is 0, it means it is divisible. Okay. And like we will be repeating the logic, right? So we will use loop for the same. And the loop, what condition we have to mention in the loop, up to where we need to go ideally. Let's say I have 13. Okay, I want to check the 13 is prime or not. So ideally I will start from 1. I will start from 2 because 1 divide every number, right? I will start from 2. I will check whether 2 divides 13. Then I will check for 3 whether 3 divides 13. I will check for 4 whether 4 divides 13. I have to go till which value ideally. Likewise, I need to go at till which position. Bhavna has correctly mentioned we have to go till number divide by 2. Okay. Right. Yeah. Am I clearly audible now? Is it better? Can you hear me clearly? Or still there is an issue? Can you hear me now? Okay, that's good. Okay. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we need to go till number divide by 2. That's how we can verify whether the number is prime or not. So yeah, same logic you have to code and accordingly you will check whether the number is prime or not. Okay, so today ideally we will be covering object-oriented programming related concepts. Okay, then we will be like going through one project. We will be covering a real-world project, which will cover all our concepts related to object-oriented programming, and then we will go through the overview of collections as well. Okay, so yeah, this all things we will be covering today. Okay. So yeah, what in the first session we had covered like what is object-oriented programming. Like I have just given an overview of object-oriented programming, right? When we were discussing the features. So do you remember that? What is object-oriented programming and why do we need it? Can you tell me in the chat what anything that you remember about OOPS or object-oriented programming? Yeah, you can respond in the chat. Classes and objects. Why do we need OOPS? Inheritance, encapsulation. Yeah, you all are very smart. You are aware about the features as well. Abstraction. One more you are missing out. Polymorphism is also there, right? Yeah. So, yeah, as we has previously also discussed, to solve real world problems, we have entities, we have objects. Okay. So anything, any real world entity, we treat it as an object. Okay. So in programming, even we treat humans as an object. For student also, for we create the class. For teacher as well, we create the class and object. Okay. So we treat everything as an object. Okay. We very first create the class, then with the help of that class, we create the objects of the class. Okay. So yeah, this thing I had already discussed. Class is like a template which will be followed by all the objects which will be given as a reference for all the objects you will be creating later on. Okay. Very first, you need to create the class. The class will ideally have attributes and methods. Okay. So let's say tomorrow I want to develop one functionality which will deal with mathematical operations, or let's say I want to perform all mathematical operations in it. So I will think of the class first, like which class I need to develop, right? So let's say I want to perform mathematical operations. Okay. So ideally, that will be the calculator class, right? So either we can create the calculator class or we can create individual class for all the shapes, mathematical geometrical shapes. So let's say for now we are creating the class for rectangle. Okay. So as I said, every class has two things, attributes and methods. Okay. So attributes are nothing but the properties of that class. Okay. So whenever you will think of that class, you will think of those attributes. So whenever I say rectangle, so what all things came into my mind? So ideally the rectangle will have length and breadth. So those will be the properties for rectangle. So the attributes for the rectangle will be length and breadth. Okay. So these attributes will be used for defining any rectangle. Right. So whatever properties which came into your mind once you think of that object, those will be the attributes of that class. Okay. So here I am having two attributes to describe the rectangle class. Okay. Then coming to the methods. So methods are nothing but the functions. Okay. Whenever we want to give some functionality to that particular class, we have to define functions to it. Okay. Let's say think of any real world object. Let's say if you say about remote. So remote also do some function, right? We can turn up the volume, we can turn on the TV, we can turn it off with the help of remote. It means there is some function associated with that object. Right. Similarly, over here with the rectangle, we associate the functions to define the functionality associated with it. Okay. So for that, we need to declare objects. Okay. Sorry, the functions. So let's say for rectangle, I will declare one function to display all the attributes, to display details of length and breadth. So I'm just giving it a name as display display dimensions, let's say. I have used camel case over here as it's a method, right? To declare a method, we use camel case. Okay, so display dimensions is one of my method. Let's say I want to declare one more method to calculate the area of rectangle. Okay, so we can declare one more function to calculate the area. Okay, so these two functions I want to associate with the uh, okay, again, I'm not audible. Just a minute. Sorry, I was just reconnecting audio. Yeah, let's come back to the topic we were on. Yeah. So here, okay, no worries. Okay, so here I have defined two methods to associate some function with the rectangle class. Okay, so let's declare this class in our code. So where let's first create new file. Let's save this demo. We will save the file with .java extension. Here also we need to select .java. Yeah, okay. So this is already one class, right? We have to declare one more class. So we can even declare it before this class, or we can even create the new file for declaring another class, okay? So we have to declare class rectangle. So how can we do that? We have to use keyword class. We have to specify the name of the class. So in this scenario, it's rectangle, right? So we will declare the class over here. Then we will define the attributes of the class first. So as we discussed, a rectangle is having two attributes, which are length and breadth. Okay. So let's declare those two attributes first. So again, those will be of type integer. So int length and int breadth. Okay. So every rectangle class will ideally have this two attributes. Okay. We will need these two attributes when we will create the objects of this class. Okay. Now we have to define the functions as well. So how do we declare a function? We have the syntax to declare a function is we have to give access specifier. So this is like I have just given a simple template over here, but ideally to declare a function, you have to specify the access specifier first. Then you have to give the return type. Okay. Then you have to specify the name of the function. And here there will be parameters which will be optional ideally. Okay. If you want to accept some data from the user, you will have to specify the parameters over here, or else they become optional. Okay, so this is the syntax to declare a function. You have to give access specifier. Access specifier is like public, private, protected. Okay, and return type, you have to specify if you want to return some value, you have to give the respective return type. Like if you want to return Boolean value, the return type will be Boolean over here. If you want to give integer value, it will be integer over here. Okay, and if you don't want to return anything, it will be void. Okay, then you will specify the function name, and here there will be parameters, and this parameters will be optional. If you want some data to be accepted from the user, you have to accept the parameters over here, or else this will be optional. Okay, so let's declare our first function, which is yeah, we can call it as an access modifier or access specifier. Okay, so display dimensions. So let's say I want to access this function everywhere. Okay, so the access specifier for that will be public. Okay, it can be private or protected as well. If you will declare it as a private, so the scope will become restricted to that particular class only. You cannot access that function outside of the class then. Okay, but we will be creating the object of this class outside in the main class ideally. So that's why you will declare this function as a public, because we want to access it from outside of the class. If you want to restrict its access within the class, then declare it as a private. Okay. For now, we will declare it as a public. Okay. And display dimension will not return any data. So that's why we will give the return type as void. Okay. And display dimensions. Okay. So here the parameters will be optional. So yeah, we have declared the function over here, void display dimensions. Okay. Yeah. So here I just want to display all the details. So I will just add one print statement over here. Yeah, static is not required over here. See, when we declare a function as a static, it can have only one instance. Like you, it will be associated with class. It won't be instance method. So this is instance method. Okay. Whenever we will create the object, like there will be individual instance created for every object. Okay. In case of a static, there won't be individual instance. It will be associated with class, not with object. Okay. But here we are declaring instance method, not static method. So that's why you won't specify static over here. Okay. Yeah. So length plus length, and we will display the breadth as well. Okay. So that's how we have declared the simple function, which is display dimensions. Okay, so if I will not specify the return type public over here, so by default it will be treated as a default scope. Okay, so what is default scope? So ideally it will be accessible in the same class and the class of it. Okay, and within the same package. That's a default scope. By default, if we don't mention any access specifier, the default scope is given to that particular function. And what is the default scope? It is accessible within the same package and the same class and the subclass as well. Okay. So ideally there are this access specifier: public, private, protected, and there is a default. Default, we don't mention the default keyword. By default, if we don't give any scope, it considers the default scope. And what is default scope? Within the same package, ideally. Okay. Yeah. So we have declared first method. Let's declare another function. we want one more function to calculate area. Okay. Final final we ideally use to declare constants. Okay. Like if we don't want to redeclare that function or if we want to declare any constant value, for that we use keyword final. We will come to that later. Okay. Void calculate area. Yeah. So here we will calculate area. So simply the area will be multiplication of length and breadth. Okay. So I'm just declaring a variable to store their multiplication, and I will display it as well. Area of rectangle is, and we will display area as well. Okay, so that's how we have created the class along with its attributes and methods. Okay, so this is like a template for all the rectangles. Later on, we will be creating objects of this class, like rectangle 1, rectangle 2, rectangle 3. Likewise, we will create the object which will have their own like which will have their own values. Okay, so class just gives the template, it just gives the blueprint. Actual implementation is given by the object. Okay, so once you create the template, you will be able to access it by creating the object of that class. Okay, so yeah, here, so we have declared the rectangle class with two attributes, length and breadth, and there are two functions as well. Okay, once you declare a class, you will be able to create the object of the class. So this is just the template. Unless and until you will not create the object of this class, you won't be able to invoke this function. You won't be able to access this attribute. Okay, yeah, so that's why we ideally need objects. Okay, so with the help of class, we just create the blueprint, which will be copied in all its objects. Okay, so all the objects will ideally have this structure. Okay, every individual object will have its individual length and breadth, will have individual instance of these functions. Okay, that's how it works. So let's create the object of this class. For that, we will first declare the main method. Okay, inside that method, we will be creating the object of rectangle class. Okay, how do we create the object? With the help of new keyword, right? So first give the name of the class, which is rectangle. Then give the name for the object. So let's say my first object is rectangle 1. Okay. And we will be using new keyword to create the object of the class. Okay. So that's how we declare the object of the class. Okay. So here we have created one object which is rectangle 1. So for rectangle 1, all this structure will go to rectangle 1. Rectangle 1 will have its own length and breadth, and also the copy for this two functions. Okay, so how can I check that? So if I give rectangle 1 and dot operator, see, I'm able to access all the attributes which I have mentioned in the rectangle class, length, breadth, and two functions as well, right? So uh, that's how it works. Okay, whatever template you give in the class, that is followed in all its objects. Okay, so let me give values for the attributes. Let's say breadth is 7, and let's say length is 5. Okay, now I will be calling out these functions. Okay, so yeah, to call out the functions as well, we will need the help of the object. We cannot call out the functions directly. Okay, these functions are the part of this object. So that's why with the help of object, you will be able to access them. Those are instance methods. Okay, so let's say I want to calculate, I want to call out display dimensions first, and I want to call out calculate area as well. Okay, yeah. So we have created the object and we have assigned values to the attributes and have called out methods as well. Let's run this code. See, so whatever values we assigned to the object, those got assigned accordingly. Length is 5, breadth is 7, and area of rectangle is 7 5s are 35. So this was for first object rectangle one. Likewise, we can create as many objects as we want. Okay, I can create one more object as well. Let's say I want to create one more object, which is rectangle 2. So similar in the similar manner, I will be creating the another object. But for this rectangle too, it will have its own attributes and methods, right? So yeah, rectangle 2 will have its own length and own breadth as well. Okay, so likewise it works. So see, here we are manually assigning the values for each and every attribute, right? So in this class, there are only two attributes. So it's easier. But let's say there are more than 5 attributes, or let's say there are 10 attributes. So this will become very tedious, right? To individually assign value to each and every attribute, right? So for that we have constructor. So constructor will help us to assign the value to the attributes during object creation itself. Okay. So here what we did, we individually assigned value to each and every attribute, right? So instead of doing this in this manner, what we will do, we will declare a constructor, and constructor will assign the value to all the attributes during the object creation itself. Okay. So let's see how do we declare a constructor. Yeah. So constructor will have the name same as of the class name. So my class name is rectangle over here. So the name of the constructor will also be rectangle. And here you will specify round brackets and then curly brackets. So it is somewhat similar to function, right? But is it having any return type? No, right? For constructor, you won't give any data type over return type over there. It is just like you will declare a class name again, and here you will specify the parameters. So see, I need values for two attributes, length and breadth. Okay. So I will specify parameterize constructor over here. I have to pass these two values and assign it to my attributes. Okay. So let's accept first value in variable L, and let's accept second value in variable B. So these values I will store into my length and breadth. Okay. So length will get the value for which will be given for L, and breadth will get the value which will be given for B. So that's how we declare constructor. You have to give the name of the constructor compulsorily same as a class name. Okay. So if the name is similar, it means it's not a function, it's a constructor. Okay. And here you need to specify parameters. So I need to assign value for two attributes. That's why I will need two parameters. Okay. The value of L will go into the attribute length, and value of B will go into the attribute breadth. Okay. Why do we need constructors ideally? To assign values to the attributes. Okay. So let me just add a comment over here. Constructors are used to assign values to the attributes of class. Okay. Yeah. So that's how you declare a constructor. So once you declare a constructor, you need to do changes in your program. So this constructor gets called whenever you create the object of the class. You don't have to manually call it. Once you create the object, you the constructor also gets called. Okay. So here when I am declaring an object of the class, see I'm getting the error over here because it's calling the constructor which I have declared over here, and this constructor is ideally requiring two parameters, right? So those parameters we need to pass over here. So instead of manually giving value to each and every attribute, I will assign it over here itself. So yeah, my length is, so first one is length, right? So my length is 5 and my breadth is 7. So 5 comma 7. So I don't have to give it explicitly over here. By default, during the object creation itself, the values will get assigned to my attributes as well. Okay. Similarly, over here, also it's calling out the constructor and it is asking me the values for these two attributes. Okay. So during object creation, we need to pass value for the constructor as well. So 20 and let's say 30. Okay. So we don't have to manually give it later. During object creation itself, those values will get assigned. Okay. Okay, let me call out the methods with second object as well. Okay. Yeah. So previously what we were doing, we were individually assigning value to each and every attribute, right? Which was not the feasible way. So we replaced it with the help of a constructor. Okay, how do we declare a constructor? It should have a name same as that of the class name, and you have to pass parameters to it. Okay, so we have two variables, so that's why we pass two parameters over here. And we are assigning the value to the respective attributes. The value of L we are assigning to length, value of B we are assigning to breadth. Okay. And when this constructor is getting called during object creation itself, we don't have to call it separately. It gets called during the object creation itself. Okay. So that's why we need to pass values to those attributes. So that's why I have given value for length and I have given value for breadth as well. Okay. Let me rerun this code. So see, whatever values we have passed over here that are getting assigned and accordingly it's assigning the values to my attributes and passing the same values in the function call as well. Okay, 20 and 30, 5 and 7. Any doubt still here? Have you clearly understood this thing? What is class? How do we create the object? And how do we call out the functions? What is constructor? Is everything clear? Hello. Okay, good, good. Let's say if we give instead of L, if we specify the attribute name as length only, and here also if we specify the attribute name as breadth only. So see the then we have to use the same length over here, na? And same breadth over here. So compiler will get confused, like what are we saying? Which is this length which we are assigning and which is this breadth which we are assigning. So that's why here with the variable which belongs to class, there you have to declare one keyword which is this. Okay. Here also, like, see, when you use same attributes in the parameters which are there in the class, then the compiler has that confusion. Like, ideally, which value is getting assigned to which attribute, right? So to clear the confusion over there, we use this keyword. Okay. And this keyword will be ideally used with the attribute which belongs to class. So this attribute is the one which belongs to the class, right? And this one is the one which is given as a parameter over here. So this one we will directly give. And for the attribute which is belonging to class, we will use this keyword. So this dot length, it means it's not a normal variable. It's the variable which is belonging to class. Okay, so this dot length and this dot breadth are the variables which are belonging to class. Okay, and these variables are those which are accepted as a parameter over here. Okay, so this is also one of the interview questions. They ask you why do we use this keyword and where will be its application ideally. So when you have same parameter name as that of the attribute name, that time you need to use this keyword so that you will be able to distinguish between the attribute which belongs to the class and the one which is accepted as a parameter. Okay, is this clear? Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's move to the pillars of object-oriented programming. Okay, get value from command line as a parameter. Okay, so which are the pillars of object-oriented programming? Like sometime before you were pinging them in the chat. Ideally, there are four pillars of object-oriented programming, right? Which are they? You can respond in the chat. Which are the four pillars? Yeah, polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, encapsulation, and one more is there, right? Abstraction. Correct. Okay, so these four are the pillars of object-oriented programming: inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction. We will go through each and every pillar individually. Okay, so uh, let's go through the first pillar of object-oriented programming, which is inheritance. Okay, so what do we mean by inheritance? We have heard this word in biology as well, right? What is inheritance ideally? What is inheritance? So inheritance is like we inherit, it inherits features, correct? So lot of time we our relatives say that like you look like your mom, or you are intelligent as your father, right? So it means we have inherited the properties of our parents, right? Similarly, this applies to the programming as well. They have applied the same feature in programming. Okay, we have a parent class and we have a child class. Okay, and child class inherits the feature of the parent class. Okay, so child class can access its own attributes and method plus the parent attributes and methods. Okay, that is what inheritance is. So as I said, there is a parent class and there is a child class which will inherit the parent class. Okay, and child class can access its own properties as well as its parent properties. So child will be ideally child plus parent. Okay, because child can access the own attributes and method as well as the parent attributes and methods. Okay, so that's what inheritance is. Okay, let's see how we can implement it in a program. So let's say I have a parent class called animal. So ideally, why do we have inheritance in Java? To improve code reusability. Okay, our code becomes reusable, right? The properties and attributes which are there in the parent class are accessible by child class. It means they have become reusable in the child class. We can reuse them in the child class. Okay, uh, as an example, let's say we have a parent class animal, okay, and we have a child class dog. So dog can have its own properties and dog can access the properties and attributes from animal class as well. Okay, so that's how it works. Uh, let's create one new file. Yeah. Okay. So as I said, let's say I have a class animal. Okay. And let's say animal has the attributes like what all attributes do you think animal class should have? How can we identify an animal? What all properties will it have? Every animal will have a breed, right? Domestic, non-domestic, or where the animal stays and the breed. Okay, but those can be the attributes for an animal class, right? Color. Okay. What else? Sound. Okay. Size. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so let's say for now I'm giving the attributes as legs. Okay. Let's say one attribute is number of legs. Number of. Okay. So this is my one attribute. Uh, okay. Which other attribute can we give? Sound. Okay. So spring sound it would be, right? Okay. So these two attributes I have mentioned in the animal class. Let me declare one function as well to display the values of this attributes. Okay. So void display data. I will just display these values. Yeah. Let me just print it out. Number of legs and sound. Okay. I'm just printing these two values. So this became my first class, which is animal. Okay. Gender. Okay. Fine. Okay. So, yeah, I will create another class which is dog. And the class dog will inherit the parent class animal. So, how can we do that? You will write the name of the class and you have to use the keyword which is extends. Okay, and you have to specify the parent class name. So, over here it's animal. Okay, so with the help of keyword extend, we have that parent child relationship. So here dog is a child class which is inheriting the parent class animal. Okay. Do remember this keyword extends. Okay. It is used to extend the child class by the parent class. Okay. So let's say dog class has an attribute. Yeah. So what all attributes will you specify for the dog class? Let's say breed. What else? Mm, barking? Okay. Barking cannot be the attribute, right? It can come as a function, we can say. Okay. Color. Okay, let's say color. Okay, so these two attributes I have given in the dog class. I'm displaying another function which is let's say display dog details. Okay, and I will just print out the values over here. So over here, the dog is not normal class, but it's the child class of an animal class. Okay, let me just print out both the attributes, breed, and we want to display color as well. Okay, yeah. So now we have created our parent class animal. We have declared a child class dog, which is extending the parent class animal. Okay. Now let's move on to the creation of object. Yeah, breed will also be string, right? Yeah. Okay, now let's create the object of the class. So now whenever we will declare an object, we will create the object of the child class, okay, not of the parent, because with the help of child, we are able to access the attributes of parent as well, right? So that's why we will be creating the object of a child class. So over here, the child class is dog. So we will create the object of a dog. Okay. So let's say dog D1 new dog. Okay. So see, with the help of this D1 object, I am able to access all the attributes and functions. So in dog class, there was only breed and color. But I am able to access number of legs and sound as well. Why? Because those attributes are there in the parent class. With the help of child, we are able to access parent as well. Okay. So that's why these attributes are also accessible. And display data was also not there in the doc class. But as it's there in the parent, we are able to access that as well. Okay. So yeah, let's give some random values to them. Let number of legs, let's say 4. Color, let's say brown. What else we have? Let's say breed. We can give lab for now. Then what else we have? Sound. Hmm. Okay. So we have specified the values for all the attributes. Let's call out the methods as well. Display data and display dog details as well. Okay. So with the help of child, we are able to access the attributes and methods from the parent as well. So that's how inheritance works. Okay. Due to inheritance, the child is able to access the attributes and methods from the parent class. Okay. And that's how our code becomes reusable. Let's run the code. Yeah. So those two functions are invoked and the data is displayed over here. Okay. So that's how inheritance work in Java. Okay. We have a parent class, we have a child class. Child inherit parent with the help of which keyword? Extends. Okay. Child extends the parent class and with the help of child we are able to access all the attributes and methods from parent. So this was inheritance. Now coming to polymorphism. What do you understand by the word polymorphism? Polymorphism. Poly is like multiple, right? Poly is multiple and morphism is forms. So multiple forms of something, right? So, yeah, so one specific method can be implemented in many forms so that we can achieve in Java as well. So, when I say area, so area can be of circle, area can be of square, area can be of rectangle, right? So, the function is same, it's area only, but its implementation will be different for rectangle, it will be different for square, it will be different for circle, right? So implementations differ in that scenario. Correct. So those different implementation we can specify in Java as well. Okay. When we say speak, so we speak in different manner. Animals also speak, but they speak in different manner, right? So we both are doing the same process, but the way of doing it is different for both of us, right? So that's what polymorphism is, right? One thing is implemented in different ways. Okay. Let's implement the example of area function itself. Just creating a new file. Yeah. So as I said, area function. Okay. So as I said, area, when I say area, then the area can be of rectangle, area can be of square, area can be of circle as well. So how can we distinguish between them? How can we differentiate? Like, am I speaking about area of rectangle or am I speaking of area about area of circle? So in Java, we distinguish them with the help of a parameters. Okay, every function will accept different number of parameter or data type will be different for both the functions. With the help of data type, we are able to distinguish them. Okay, yeah. So let me once declare a class. Okay, let's say let's say shape. Okay, yeah. So here I will declare area function. So first area I want to declare for the circle. Okay, area of circle. So for area of circle, we ideally require only one parameter, right? Which is radius. Okay, how we will declare the function? We have to define the access modifier. We have to define the return type. Okay, we have to mention the name of the function. Okay, yeah. Function name we always give in camel case. Here we will accept only one parameter, which is radius. Yeah. And what will be the implementation over here? Ideally, the area will be pi r square, right? So 3.14 multiplied by r multiplied by r. Okay. We have to give float over here because the decimal value is there, right? So that's why the result after this calculation will be in decimal format. So either use float or double. Okay. Let's say I'm using double for now. And the value also we will accept in the form of double. I have used the variable radius, right? Let me use r itself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can display the answer after that. Out.println area of circle. And I will just display the answer. Okay. So that's our one implementation of this area function. Okay. We will give another implementation for the rectangle. Okay. So again, we will declare the function with the same name. Okay. The name of this function will also be area. But the parameters will be different over here. So rectangle will ideally require two parameters, right? Length and breadth. So yeah, L and int B. Okay. So that's how we can differentiate. So what's the difference between the declaration of these two functions? Till this, everything is similar, like, right? The difference is there in the parameters. Okay, here there was only single parameter of data type double, but here there are two different parameters with data type int and int. Okay, so due to the data type of parameter and number of parameters, we are able to distinguish these two functions. Okay, so that's how polymorphism works. There are similarly defined functions with different parameters. Okay, and when I say different parameters, the data type of a parameter can be different, and the number of parameter can be different. Okay. Also, the sequence can also be different. If it is int float, we can even declare another function with float int. Okay, that will also ask like that will also give us the same output over there. Yeah, so area equals to, let's say, L multiply by B. We will just print it out. area of rectangle. Okay, I want one more function for the area of circle as well. So again, I will declare one more function, area of square, I mean. Yeah, I will declare one more function area, but over here I will accept the side of the square. Okay, yeah, so this one is for area of circle. Uh, uh, yeah, okay. So area of circle will be ideally s multiplied by s. Okay. So even if the names of these functions are similar, the parameters they are having are different. Okay. So in the first function there is single parameter. In the third function also there is a, sorry, here it should be area of square. Yeah. So in the third function as well there is a single parameter, but you can see the data type is different. Here it's double and here it's integer. So that's why these two are two different functions. They are not similar. Okay. They will be treated as a two different functions. Okay. Over here I'm having two parameters. So that's why this will be another separate function. It will be treated differently. Okay. So even if my function is similar, it is implemented in different ways. Okay, there are three different implementation of this area function, and how we are able to distinguish them due to the help of a parameter. Over here there is single parameter. Here also there is a single parameter, but the data types are different. Okay, and here there are two different parameters. Okay, now let's call out this area function. We have to first declare a main method. Okay, we will first create the object of this shape class. So shape s equals to, just a minute, let me, uh, okay, shape s equals to new shape. Okay, now I will call out the area function. S dot area. So see, I can see three different implementations of this area functions. Okay. One is with double value, one is with integer, and one is with two integer values. So if I want to call out for the area of square, I will call out this function. If I want to get the area of rectangle, I will call out this function. Okay, I have to pass length and breadth. Okay. If I want to get it for a square, I will pass one integer value only. And if I want to get for the circle, I have to pass double value. Okay. So as per the parameter, you need to pass the value over here. Okay. Let's say 5.6 is my radius. Okay. So that here this call will ideally call out the area function for rectangle. Okay. This will call out it will match like as per the value we have given over here, it will match like which implementation is matching with the function call. Okay. And accordingly, it will call out the respective implementation. You have to change message over here, area of square. Okay. Let me run this code. Okay. So first function called out the one which is for rectangle, second one called out the one which is for square, and third one called out the one which is for circle. So that's how polymorphism works in Java. Okay. Are you clear about inheritance as well as polymorphism? Any doubts still here? Inheritance polymorphism is clear to you? Yeah, you will get the attendance link. You don't need to spam over here. Okay. Okay, we can move ahead then. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. So we are done with the inheritance and polymorphism. My screen is visible, right? You all can see my screen. Is my screen visible to you? Can you just quickly confirm me in the chat? Okay, it's not visible. Let me reshare it once. Now it's visible, I think, right? Okay. We covered inheritance and polymorphism. Let's move ahead to the encapsulation and abstraction. So encapsulation is like a capsule. Okay. We encapsulate everything within a class. Okay. We include all its attributes and methods within the class. Like in a capsule, we have all the ingredients added, right? Similarly, within our class, we define all its attributes and function. That's what encapsulation is. Okay, we encapsulate everything together. Okay, and additionally, right, like a capsule, and additionally, we declare those attributes as private so that those attributes will not be accessible from outside of the class. Okay, those will be only accessible within that particular class itself. Okay, so let's declare one employee class and let's demonstrate it. Okay, okay, let's say we have an employee class. So, yeah, so all these employees will have this generic class. We will be later on creating object of this employee class. What all attributes should be there for this employee class? Which attributes do you think should we assign it for the employee class? Let's say employee number, right? What else? Employee name, then the department, right? What else? Name, number, name, department, what else? Salary, okay. Okay, so let's say these four are the attributes of my employee class. Right, right. Gender, salary. So ideally, this all attributes will be associated with all the objects later on we will be creating, right? We can declare one function over here to display values of this attributes. So let's say I just want to display all these values, display data. Okay. I just want to display all these details. Employee number. Likewise, I will display all the details. Employee name. Yeah. Department and salary. We will need two more. Department and salary. Let's say we want other functions as well to check when the employee has joined in or to check the increment for the salary and all. We can declare those functions as well. For now, we are keeping it simple. So whatever functionalities you want to give in for that employee, let's say punch in, punch out and all, you can give all that functions, okay? So for now, we have declared four attributes and we have declared one function, which is display data. Okay. So in case of, as I said, in encapsulation, we encapsulate everything within a class. So here we have encapsulated all the attributes and function. And to improve security for the code, like to make it more secure, we declare the variables as private. So once I will declare the variables private, what will be the effect? Like what will be the impact of declaring this variables private ideally? You can respond in the chat. So once I will declare them private, I won't be able to access them outside of this class, right? These variables. So let's say if I will create a object of this class, let me create the object of this class, employee even equals to new employee. Okay, so I have created the object of this class. Now I will try to access this attribute. So see, I am not able to access any of the attribute. I am able to access only one function, which is display data, right? So they become private. They become accessible only within that class. So how can we access them? Either one way is you declare a constructor so that you will be able to assign values for them, or you have to declare a public methods so that with the help of those methods, with the help of those functions, you will be able to do operations with that variables. Okay. So ideally we have getters and setters for them. Okay. Getter is used to fetch the value and setter is used to set the value for the variable. Okay. So those methods we will keep them public so that they will be accessible from outside of the class. Okay. And with the help of those functions, we will interact with those variables ideally. Okay. So how do we declare getters and setters? Let's say I want to declare one getter for the employee number. Okay. So yeah. So it will ideally give us the value, right? Getter will give us the value. So this will be like public and it will give us the integer value, right? So the return type will be integer over here. And you have to get employee like same attribute name. It will be proceeded with get keyword. Okay. And we will simply return the value of employee number. Okay, so this function is with return value. We are returning some value. So that's why we gave the return type as integer over here. And at the end of the function, we need to return that value. Okay, then you will declare a setter method to set the value for for that attribute. Okay, so how can you do that? Public. Here we don't return any value, so you can give void itself and set. You have to specify the variable name. So set employee number. Yeah. And you have to pass some value over here, right? Which will be set for that particular variable. So let's say E. or EMP number. Okay. So yeah, employee number will get the value which we have given as a parameter for this function. Okay. So this is how we declare getters and setters. Getters will ideally give the value whenever we require that value, we will call out the get function. And whenever we want to set the value, whenever we have to assign the value to that variable, we will use setter. Okay, set will assign the value, get will give it to you. Okay, yeah. So likewise, you have to declare getters and setters for each and every attribute. Okay, yeah. So let's try to invoke them. So see, now we have get employee number and set employee number as well. So very first I will set employee number, right? So let's say I want to set the employee number as 1 or 101. Okay. Now I want to fetch it. Let's say I want to display that value. So in the out statement, I will call out that function ideally. Employee number is, and I will call out the get function. Okay. So even dot get employee number. So whatever number will be given, employee number will be given by it will be ideally captured in this output statement. Okay. Let me run this code. So see, employee number is 101. And let me call out the another function as well, which is display data. So even dot display data. Yeah, let me rerun. So see, we had only set the value for the employee number. We have not yet set the value for other variable. Right. So that's why the default value for that data type is set for them. For string, the default value is null. So that's why null value is set over here. For integer, it's 0. So that's why like we need to declare getter setters for them as well. And then we need to call them accordingly. Okay. So that's how encapsulation work. Okay. So tomorrow when someone will ask you what you will say about encapsulation, it's like a capsule. Everything you enclose within the class itself. Okay. All the attributes and methods that you want to associate with that class, you will enclose it within the class itself. Okay. Additionally, we declare the attributes as private so that they will be only accessible within that particular class. You won't be able to access them outside of that class. Why, then you will need getters and setters to access them outside of the class. Okay. Is everything clear till here? Any doubts? Any doubts you have? We are covering few problems along with the concept as well, right? Any doubts here? Okay, no doubts. I can see no doubts. Okay, okay. So till now we have understood inheritance, encapsulation, and polymorphism. Okay. So in case of inheritance, we have a parent class and child class. And child class inherits the properties of the parent class. Okay. And that makes our code reusable. Then we studied polymorphism. Polymorphism is like multiple forms of a same function. Okay. Same function is invoked in multiple ways. And we are able to distinguish those different implementations with the help of a parameters. Okay, we have different data type of parameters and we have different sequence as well. We have different number of parameters as well. Then we came across encapsulation. We have a one more pillar of object oriented programming, which is abstraction. So what is abstraction? Are you aware? So ideally, abstraction is like hiding the implementation. We hide the implementation from the user. Okay. So in lot of implementation, we can see that something is happening, but how it is happening, how it is going at the background, we are not aware about it.
So that's what abstraction is. Okay. Like we drive the car. We are aware like how to drive the car. But what is happening inside? We are not aware of that. Okay. We turn on TV with the help of remote controller. But how it functions internally, how does it do that? Are we aware of that? No, right? So there is some processing at the background. So similar is the scenario in case of a abstraction. Okay. So to hide implementation detail, we use abstraction. Okay. For user can see that something is happening. There is some implementation, but from where it is originating, how it has originated, where it is declared. Okay. That is hidden from the user. Okay. So that's what abstraction is. We declare abstract class to implement abstraction. And within those abstract class, there are abstract methods. Okay, let's quickly see the example of it. Uh-uh. How did it saved with this name? Okay, let's create the new file. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, as I said, we need to create the abstract class. Okay, and within that abstract class, we have abstract methods. Okay, so yeah, so let's say I have an abstract class rectangle. Okay, within that abstract class, I have an abstract method. So we use abstract keyword to declare the abstract method. Okay, uh, yeah. We use abstract keyword to declare the abstract class, and we again have to use abstract keyword to declare the abstract method. So what is abstract method ideally? So abstract method is the method without the implementation. We just declare it. We don't define the implementation of it. Okay. And abstract class is the class which can contain abstract as well as non-abstract method. It can contain normal methods as well. Okay. So let's say I want to declare get area as an abstract method. Or let's say example of a bank class. I want to declare a bank class as an abstract class, and I want to declare one method get interest. So get interest, I want to hide this implementation from the user. Okay. Uh, yeah. So this method is now an abstract method. We can declare it as a public. Okay. Okay, so we have to first use abstract keyword, then we have to give the return type. Okay, so first there will be access modifier, then we have to specify the keyword abstract, then we have to give the return type and the function name. Okay, do remember the syntax. And here we have given semicolon because we are not declaring its implementation. Okay, we are not giving declaration. We have just declared it. We have not given its implementation. Okay, we will be giving the implementation of this in the child class. Okay, we have to create the child class to give the implementation of this abstract method. Okay, so abstract method is ideally method without the body. It's just the declaration. Okay, so later on we need to create the child class of this abstract class and we have to specify the implementation of it. Okay, so let's say I declare a child class with the name ICICI. So it has to extend this parent class bank. And in the in this child class, I have to give the implementation of this abstract method. Okay, because this class is inheriting the abstract class bank, so it has to it has to compulsorily give implementation of the abstract method. Okay, so yeah, we have to give the implementation of this abstract method, which is void interest, get interest. Yeah, so we have to ideally redeclare that method in the child class and we have to specify attempting to here let me give the access as public only. We have to give in the same manner as it's there in the parent class, but we are defining its implementation over here. So that's how abstraction work. Okay. In the parent class, we have to declare a parent class, which will be ideally abstract class. And within that abstract class, we have to declare abstract methods. So what are abstract methods? They are the methods without the body. We just declare them. We don't specify their implementation. Okay. And where do we have to specify the implementation? Ideally in the child classes. So let's say if I will create four child classes of this bank class, then all four child classes will give the implementation of this abstract method. Okay, all of them have to give implementation of this abstract method. They have to provide some implementation of it. Okay. And additionally, what are the properties of the abstract class? You cannot ever create the object of abstract class. Okay. So, yeah, let me first give the implementation. Uh, let's say I just want to display the value rate of interest is 5%. Okay. Yeah. So I have declared an abstract class. I have declared an abstract method. I have to implement it somewhere. So that's why I have declared one child class. The child class is inheriting the abstract class bank and also giving the definition of this get interest method as well. Okay. Now let me try to create very first I will declare a main method. Let me try to create object of the bank class. B1 equals to nib bank. So is it possible? No, because bank class is the abstract class. It's not normal class, but the abstract class. So that is the property of the abstract class. We cannot instantiate it. We cannot create object of it. Okay. So here, if we want to access this get interest method, we have to create the object of the child class ideally, which is inheriting that abstract class. ICICI. Let's create some object of it. Let's say I1 equals to. Now with the help of this object, we will be able to access the abstract method which we have declared. Right. I1 uh, uh, here we have not spelled it correctly. That's why we are getting the error. Uh, 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 okay. I have to redeclare. Okay. Yeah. Let me call out the function. Okay. Let's run this code. So see, it has called out the abstract method from the bank class. So how this is helping us with the abstraction thing? So ideally this get interest method is the one which belongs to bank class, right? It's not the it's not belonging to ICICI class. It's actually the part of the bank class. But for user, it will appear like it is ideally belonging to the ICICI class, but actual implementation is something different. It is originating from somewhere else, but for user it is appearing as something different, right? So that's how we hide an implementation from the user. Okay, we have to take the help of abstract classes and abstract functions for the same. Okay, and like let me quickly summarize the properties of abstract class. So one property is abstract class can have abstract as well as non-abstract methods. What was another property for the abstract class? We cannot create object of abstract class. Okay. So whenever we declare an abstract method in an abstract class, we have to redeclare it in all the child classes. Okay. So that's also another property. Abstract method declared in abstract class has to be redeclared in all child classes. Okay, so these are the properties of abstract class. An abstract class help us to achieve abstraction. So the origination is somewhere else, and for user it appears something else. So that's how abstraction works. That's how we hide the implementation details from the user. Okay. Any doubts still here? We can quickly recall OOPS concept and we can end for today then. Okay. Do you have any doubts? While declaring abstract method, we should use implement, not extends. No, no. That's the scenario in interfaces. Okay. When we declare interface, we use implements keyword. It's not there in the classes. Don't get confused between interface and class. Okay. In case of interface, we use implement keyword, and in case of class, we use extends keyword. Okay. So you have gone through all the fundamentals of Java in this, like we were having very short time, so we were able to cover till the intermediate level only. But Java is too vast. You have to keep on learning new things. There are a lot of very more concepts in Java. There is a collection. There are collections as well. Okay, there is Java 8. So yeah, so to expand your knowledge, you have to keep on learning new things. You have to go through all these concepts to expand your knowledge. Okay. And object need to be created only for child class. Yeah, you will create the object of child class only. Exception handling is also there in Java. Okay. So once you learn the fundamentals, you are like ready to learn other parts as well. Okay. We have misspelled interest over here. It should be interest like this, right? Okay. No worries. Let me just quickly recall the OOPS concept for you. So as I said, uh, to solve real world problems, we came across the concept of classes and object. We treat each and everything which is around us as an object. Okay, and we first create the class, we create the template for it, then we create the objects of that class. And class will ideally have the attributes and functions. Attribute are used to define its properties, and functions are used to give the implementation part. Okay, so once we declare a class, it becomes ready for all its objects. Okay, once we have to declare a class, and then we will create the objects from that class. Then we came across four pillars of object oriented programming, which are very, very important when you will give interviews ahead. Those four pillars were ideally inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. Okay, inheritance is like a parent-child relationship. We have a parent class and we have a child class. Parent class inherits the properties. Sorry, my bad. So child class inherits the properties from the parent class. Child can access its own properties as well as one from the parent. Okay, I think someone want to understand runtime and compile time polymorphism. Okay, let me quickly cover that. Okay, so this polymorphism is a compile time polymorphism. There are two types of polymorphism. We were having time limit, so that's why I did not cover it earlier. Okay, so this is a compile time polymorphism because during compilation itself, it's understood, right? Like which method is getting called. So during compilation, it means before program execution itself, we are able to identify, right, which method will get called. So this will call out the area function for rectangle. This will call out the area function of square. So we are able to identify before program execution only, right? So this kind of polymorphism is known as compile time polymorphism. Okay, which is also called as overloading. Okay, because during compilation itself we are able to understood like which method will get called and we are able to differentiate these two methods. Here the parameters are different for every method. Okay, but when we say runtime polymorphism, the function is exactly similar. So we have covered example for inheritance. Let me tell you here only. Let's say this display data method is there in the animal class. Let's say I have same function in my dog class as well. Okay. So here inheritance came in picture. Okay. In case of overriding, in case of runtime polymorphism, inheritance is also there. Okay. So let's say I have same function in the child class. Instead of display dog details, I rename it to display data only. So see, the same function is there in my parent class and it's there in my child class as well, right? Display data is there in my parent class and the similar function is there in the child class as well. So here parameters are also similar, right? The parameters which are there over here are also similar. Also there are zero parameters and here also there are zero parameters. So what will compiler do in this scenario? So ideally, compiler calls the method in the child class. The method which you have declared in the child class that gets invoked. Okay. The child implementation overrides the one in the parent. That is called as overriding. Okay. So the child implementation override the implement of the parent class. Okay. So that's why when I will run this function, when I will run this code, so see, what did it printed? It printed the breed and color instead of number of legs and sound. It printed breed and color for me. Okay, the implementation from the child class is invoked. Okay, because this method is overridden by the child class. This implementation is ideally accessible to the compiler. Okay, so that's what overriding is. Okay, so we can say polymorphism is of two types, compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Let me just quickly add it over here. So polymorphism, as I said, it's of two types. Compile time, I will quickly cover it and we will stop for today. Okay, compile time and runtime. Compile time and runtime polymorphism. Okay, compile time is also called as overloading. And runtime is also called as overriding. Okay. So in case of overloading, the parameters are different. So that's why we are able to differentiate between two functions. We are able to differentiate, like we are able to identify like which function will get called. Okay. But in case of runtime polymorphism, parameters are also similar. So the declaration is exact similar. Okay. So that's why we are not able to distinguish between two different functions. Okay, so what will happen in case of overriding? The one which has came later, that overrides the implementation of the parent class. Okay, so this is also one of the famous interview questions. Okay, we can we can stop for today then. Do let me know you have any doubts. You can ping quickly in the chat then. Yeah, you can correct. You can move ahead to the learning data structures as well and try to solve as many problems as you can. Okay, as many questions as you will solve, your confidence will be stronger. Okay, and you will get that fun when you will write the logic. It was great interacting with you all. The only thing I will suggest to you is don't stay limited. Okay, keep expanding your knowledge, keep learning more and more things. Okay.
All right, guys. Hi. I hope you all had a great session, right? Quick interaction. I hope I'm audible to all of you, right? So let's put a quick firecracker emoji in the chat so I can guess that okay, you can hear me properly. You can hear and see me properly. All right. Yes, yes, yes. I mentioned the emoji, guys. Put it. Don't write it. Don't write yes, yes, yes. Put the emoji and I'll guess. Quiz time. Yes, Ayush. Quiz time. For I'm here for that only. Cool. So the moderator has is spamming the sorry, assignment link. Make sure you are submitting your assignment for today as well. Make sure you are submitting your assignment for day one, day two as well. If you submit your assignment, if you score a certain marks, then only you are eligible to get the certificate. Okay. Cool. Kahoot time. Okay. Yeah. So it's Kahoot time. Let me quickly share my screen. And I want everyone who is watching the session to join in for the Kahoot. Okay, unless or until I'm not getting 100 participants, I'm not starting the Kahoot, and we will withdraw if 100 people are not there. So make sure to call in your friends as well to play it. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Ma'am, 87 are watching. How 100 will be? Sumit, that's why I told you I need to call your friends as well. When I will receive certificate, Rahul, I have already mentioned it. You will be receiving your certificate after a week. We will be giving you a week time to uh, complete all the 3 days assignment. You will be getting certificate only if you have submitted the assignment for day one, day two, and day three, and you have scored more than 70. Okay. All right, so I'm starting I hope my screen is visible. I'm just loading the pin. Okay. So on 1 2 week get certificate. I didn't really get what you're asking, Azankya. Cool. Everyone, please join in. So this is your game pin. You have to put. You can scan this as well. Scan this QR and or you can just log into www.kahoot.it. Ronaldo, I have already explained where to join in. So this is this either you scan this QR or go to www.kahoot.it and enter this game pin. Right. Everyone, quickly join in for Kahoot so that we can start. Riddhi, yes, you have to mark your attendance and you have to submit the assignment. Then only you will be getting your certificate. All right. Hope I'm clear on that. All right. Everyone, join in quickly so that I can start your quiz. I have 55 participants as of now. So others, at least people who are watching live, please join in. We'll see who is gonna win today, right? Meanwhile, if anyone have any other doubt, any other questions, you can put it in the chat. Of course, not regarding to Java, because I'm not expert over there. I had seen that to bring up advanced Java program, right? So we will be planning, we will be coming up with more boot camps for sure. 86 for then 86 people, please join in for to play the game. All right, just join in quickly, guys, so that I can start. Cool, then that's it. Others are now joining in. I'm gonna start the game. Okay. Fragnite, you can log into LetsUpgrade.in and there you can go to all programs section and all the list of upcoming program has been made over there. You can register for the program of your choice, whatever thing you want to learn, and that's it. Yeah. Attendance issue, Riddhi, again, I'm not sure what issue you are facing. If you're not able to mark your attendance using the link, just simply go to letsupgrade.in, log in and go to my program section where you can see all the program you have registered for. Make sure you have registered for the programs and from there you can just go to sessions and mark your attendance. All right, so okay, so let's start the quiz. Okay, the winner will receive 500 Amazon gift voucher from us. So I'm starting it, okay? So here is your first question. What is the main purpose of conditional statement if else in Java? Okay. So 64 students have answered it correctly. Let's see who is on the leaderboard. Pratham is on the leaderboard. Great. So the leaderboard actually depend upon how fast you have answered, how correct you have answered. Okay. So your second question is, which operator check if two values are equal in Java? So these are your options. You can choose the correct option among them. Okay, 73 students got it right. Let's see. Now Tushar is on the leaderboard. Great. Prince, hello Prince. So what will be the following code print? So this is the code. All right, 63 student got it right. And Pratham is back on the leaderboard. All right, let's go to the next question. When should you use a while loop instead of a for loop? Fifty-one correct answers. And Pratham still on the top. Great. Fifth question. What is the correct way to declare an array of 5 integers in Java? मैं poll में answer. Prince, I hope you have not joined in for the quiz. That's why you're not able to answer it, right? All right, only 39 got it right. Damn. Pratham is still on the leaderboard. Okay. What does this code do? So, yeah. Prince, अभी तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो because we are already done for today's quiz. Maybe you can join in for the next bootcamp, then and we'll play quiz again. Then we can, then you can also play. Okay. The leaderboard has changed. So in object-oriented programming, what is class? Seventy-seven got the right answer. Prince is answering in the chat. Great. Okay, now we have BV Ritika on the leaderboard. So this is your eighth question. How do you create an object of a class named car? Sixty-five got it correct. And we will be moving to our next question. Now Sujesh is on the leaderboard. So let's see who is gonna win today. Ninth question. What is a constructor mainly used for? Let's see what is the correct answer. For Prince, the correct answer is. Ade. Okay, option A. That's the correct answer. Now see who is on the leaderboard. Again, Sujesh is on the leaderboard. Let's see. We have our last question over here. Let's see. Let's see who is gonna win. So the question is, what happens if a try block throws an error and there is a matching catch? Let's see. Option D is the correct answer, and great. Sujesh is on the leader top, and we have Python and Ritika following him. Okay, so that's it for today's Kahoot, guys. I hope you did enjoyed it, right? As much as we have enjoyed it. Cool. So that's it for today. Sujesh, you need to reach out to the team. So write down your details on support@letsupgrade.in, and you will receive your gift coupon via mail. Okay. So I hope I'm clear on this. I hope you did had a lovely session. You would have learned something new, and you will practice by your own. Just keep practicing. That's the only way. And I hope you did enjoyed the session. Uh, I'm not sure if I will be able to share my personal detail like for my Insta ID, but don't forget to follow LetsUpgrade.in on Instagram. Follow Let's Upgrade and subscribe to the channel as well. Um, Rishika, how we get certificate? You have to submit your day 1, day 2, day 3 assignment. I have repeatedly told it many times, and then again, once you submit, you will get the correct answers. If you get it after that a week, you will be getting your certificate. Okay, and you will be getting in your mail. My LinkedIn ID, Madhvi. I'll put it in the chat. Okay. I'll ask the moderator to put my LinkedIn ID in the chat. You can reach out to me if you have any query, anything related to the program. Okay. Riddhi, again, attendant issue, please reach out to support team and we will be guiding you from there. Okay. Brand ambassador course, you have to register for that. The link is there in the description. You can use that link to register for Let's Upgrade brand ambassador course. Okay. uh Apart from this, if you face any you are mentioning Beam but not showing on LinkedIn, moderator, please put my LinkedIn ID in the chat so that the students can tag me if they are posting about the session on LinkedIn. Okay, just wait. I'll only do it. Okay, I've shared my LinkedIn ID and it is there in the chat. You can just access it from there. Apart from that, if anyone has any doubt, any question, you can actually write it as support@letsupgrade.in and we will be helping you out with anything is there. Okay, so thank you so much for joining in, guys. Have a great day. Keep learning. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.